The stunts that I would have to hand off, my favorite nights in the first couple of seasons were when Oliver was chasing someone on his motorbike, because all I would do at the beginning of the night is do the scene that you see at the end, when I show up right towards camera and like flip up my mask, then I would go home. And no, they never let me be on a moving motorbike, with the exception of like one time, I think during the second or third season, I was working with Katie Lotz, and they had us on a motorbike that was being dragged behind the car. So I had to hand those off. I had to hand off anything that had to do with significant heights, not because they just wouldn't let me, and anything that had to do with wire work. Like if I was being punched by some type of metahuman and I was flying back across the room, that was not me.
It looks fun to us. It's so dangerous and technically challenging?
Well, I just think that, like with anything, if you're... Tom Cruise gets to make his own decisions as to what stunts he does, and even then, I think there's this perception out there that he does 100% of stuff. Doesn't. But what he does do is he has time to prep for stuff and prep for big stunts. And within the context of episodic television, it's not like I can take 2 days to go work with the stunt team on this particular sequence, because during those 2 days, I'm filming an episode. So, just all about prep time, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very technical and, of course,
100%. It's
and dangerous.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to safety. And we had, in 170 episodes of Arrow, and a lot of practical stunts, a lot of car flips, a lot of guys falling, a lot of people diving off of bridges, to say nothing of just big sequences where, like, I'm whipping my bow around, and a lot of different things can go wrong. We had a couple of bloody noses, a couple of broken noses, a couple of black eyes. But that was pretty much it over 8 seasons. So, kept it safe.
So just superficial wounds that the guys can brag about afterwards, nothing too chaotic.
Yeah, I broke a couple of noses. Oh, and I got cracked in the face once really hard and broke my nose, and we had to finish up the sequence before my you-know-what started to swell up.
Swell up,
yeah.
And I always imagine the director's like, keep filming, this is real.
Yeah.
Was that answer a question for you there?
Absolutely, that was fantastic. And on a side note, you said that you wanted to host SNL. When you do, which show are you going to do a parody sketch of, Arrow or Heels?
Maybe it'll be an Arrow and Heels parody at the same time.
Right, the audience liked that answer. All right, we got Omega Head back here. Hello, Omega Head.
That's Mr. Omega.
Sorry, Mr. Omega Head.
No problem. For business reasons, what is your favorite dessert?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream cake from Baskin & Robbins.
Whoa.
Hope that was specific enough.
Well, I mean...
And a pretty good answer.
Yes, Mr. Omega was asking the last panel, his favorite is also mint chocolate.
There you go. Smart.
Okay, next question. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Omega. I don't know. Omega Head, can we just get a follow-up and ask? No, he's running away.
No, it's gone. It's fine. We're
okay, fine. We'll move on to the next question. Oh, we're over on this side. Oh, we were just wondering what is with the Mr. Omega Head.
If you don't know, I come from a location in Las Vegas around Area 15 called Omega Mart. I'm the mascot, and I ask these questions mainly to hold a survey to see which desserts will sell well in our market.
I gotta tell you, with your voice, I feel like you're attempting to hypnotize both of us.
I know, I like that.
Let's move on before I'm pretending I'm a cat or something like that.
That was incredible. Thank you, Mr. Omega, the mascot. All right, our next question. Do we have someone on this side? Yep. Oh, hello, welcome.
Hey, Stephen, I don't know if you remember meeting me 4 years ago at the Coding premiere.
Okay, in Vancouver?
Yes.
Okay.
It was 20 days after I'd been injured and I ended up in the wheelchair.
Yes.
And I had told you to be quiet when we were watching the movie because you and Robbie both came back to visit with me and the other young lady in the wheelchair.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, again, thank you for all you did. You guys treated me so well that night.
Thank you.
But also, mainly, the reason I came up here was we have a friend in common, Lord Mesa.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I contacted him and told him that I was coming to Fan Expo, coming to see you. And so I asked him, I said, do you have any prints that you might want to put out for the COVID coloring book? So for, I don't know if you want me to give it to you now or up at your desk, but this is from Abby.
Oh, wonderful. Please, come on by the table.
Okay, and also, I don't know if you remember when I was at the premiere, I told you about a friend that she had threatened to give my husband a mouthpiece of food poisoning and to come to the premiere.
Okay.
You already met her in the photos, my friend Tiziana here.
Okay. Okay.
She was a huge fan. The only reason she wasn't there was because she actually had to go down to Mexico. But yeah, she threatened to give my husband food poisoning so she could come with me to the premiere of Conan.
It's pretty specific.
Yeah.
It's a little biological warfare in order to come, but
And also, what Michael Davidson.
what fans do for you is incredible.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely
I
incredible.
appreciate it.
That's awesome.
But Michael Davidson also told me to say hi to you.
Oh, nice. Please say hi to Michael.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question maybe over on this side here as well. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Stephen. It's an honor to meet you. I really loved you and Arrow. And I had a question because I also follow John Barrowman and wondered if you guys ever collaborate or plan to collaborate.
I don't know if we don't have any plans to collaborate on any future projects. I like collaborating with him at karaoke.
You can sing for us today?
I am not. Thank you, though.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right.
Okay, our next question. We'll go to this side of the room if we have someone available.
Hi, I'm just curious. I was looking at your online store. I love it. It looks great. But it seems that it can't be accessed from Canada. Is that only available in America? And if so, when will Canadians be able to purchase from your store?
I don't know what the rules are for Instagram stores. I know that I just wrapped up my most recent charity campaign, but I'm going to start selling some basic stuff online, like some hoodies and stuff like that are going to be my design with my stuff on them. So we'll make sure, because I know that the company ships worldwide, so we'll do the online shop on Instagram, but I'll make sure that it can be shipped worldwide, and we'll just have a landing page for people in Canada. Want to make sure people are able to get it.
And also, if I can, just to let you know, there's no closed captioning on those videos, so it's really hard for deaf people to access. Is it possible to add closed captioning?
I used to do that on my Facebook page. I thought it happened automatically, but let me look into that. I can look into that for sure.
And just one last question. I'm
Sure.
wondering, will we be seeing you on The Flash? Can we look up to seeing you? I'm curious.
The last season of The Flash? Yeah. No, I'm coming back. I thought everybody knew that. Do people not know that?
They talked about it a bit on the previous panel for sure, but they didn't get into specifics.
Yeah, it was really fun. I came back and shot an episode in the beginning of January. It was really fun.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the people that were on before just alluded to some Arrow character showing up.
Yeah, it's me.
All right, we'll move over to this side, and a colleague of yours has a question.
Hi, Stephen.
Barry?
I was wondering when the show ended, what did you take home?
Not enough, my friend. Not enough. I have the bow from the pilot. I've got some, which was lost for like close to a year and a half. It turns out that it was just hanging up in my garage, and as I was waiting to find a better spot to put it, my daughter, who loves archery, just took it and started shooting like little toy arrows with it, and then buried it at the bottom of her toy chest outside. I thought it was gone. And then I took some cool script pages. Honestly, I didn't take that much. I tried to. I might have tried to fix that mistake when I came back for the Flash this year.
They're gonna like have security kind of pat you down on the way out.
It's not on me anymore.
I would imagine having a bow in your house would always be one of those challenging kind of props when the buds come over and you have to be like, no guys, we're not shooting arrow, bow, and arrow.
You can't touch the bow from the pilot. It's almost an antique at this point.
All right, we'll go over to this side of the room. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Hi, Stephen. I have a question. Besides the physicality portion, what character traits do you think Oliver and Jack share?
Jack Spade?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. From the very, very beginning, oh my God. I just realized that both of them, both their fathers shot themselves. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's kind of dark.
Okay.
So there's that.
And I think that as a result of that, principally, that both of them, when we meet them at the beginning of their story, are really, really horrible at delegating and working with other people. And that's something that Oliver becomes better with over 8 seasons. And I think by the time we get to season 2, Jack is getting a little bit better with already. Yeah. Yeah. They're both stubborn and stupid and hard-headed. And all those good things.
I guess like you said, when getting punched by a metahuman, though, the hard-headed comes in handy a little bit. All right, over on that side, hello.
Hi, Stephen. Yeah, really love Green Arrow and you. So I just have a quick question. Do you know the actual Chinese tattoo mean for Green Arrow? Yeah, because in Chinese it doesn't make sense. So this question made me confused for several years.
I wasn't really party to these decisions when we were randomly putting Chinese characters on my body 10 plus years ago up in Vancouver. But what does it say?
It's like the first word is rice, and the second one it should be ginger, and the third one is Yao Fei's family name Yao. And the last one is pig. So actually, it doesn't make sense in Chinese.
Can we maybe just keep that between the two of us? and all the people in this room and all the people who are recording it? Okay, just don't blame me. Okay, thanks, man.
I mean, people have eagle eyes, man, when they watch these shows. They know what's up. Okay, over on this side of the room.
Hey, Stephen, Warren. How you doing? A question for you, the salmon ladder. How long did it take you to master that? Because I tried and I could not do it.
Were you there when I first did it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's nice coming back to Vancouver because Warren worked on the show with me for a good long while. And how long did it take? It actually didn't take that long. I was very lucky. Before I booked Arrow, I didn't have a gym membership. The only thing that I had in my house was a chin-up bar. And so when I booked the pilot, which would have been early February 2012, we didn't go to camera until like mid-March. So I was out at a parkour spot in LA training, and when they found out that they had the salmon ladder there, they asked me if I could do it. And it really comes down to, it's less strength and more technique. But I remember the only time that I ever messed it up was like on the first or second take while we were shooting the pilot. And I look pretty relaxed when I'm doing it in the pilot, but I'm really it's like all muscle, and I'm just very tense because I didn't want to mess up, as opposed to when we were doing it later and it's much smoother.
Yeah, you were awesome.
Well, how many chin-ups can you do in a row?
Why are you embarrassing me?
Okay. Work work your way up. Work your way up to being able to do 10 chin-ups in a row really well, and you can do it. I promise.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Steven.
You're welcome, Warren.
That's just some good fitness advice. 10 chin-ups in a row. All right, over on this side of the room. Hello, welcome.
Hey, Steven. You're got a really great range as an actor, like hilarious in New Girl, lots of action in Arrow, athletic in Guild, but you're a really great podcast guest, like Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Is just wondering if you ever thought of starting your own podcast, and if so, what it would be about?
I've sort of, I've dabbled with podcasts over the years. Thinking back, actually, I started one back in Toronto in 2008 or 2009, and it's very frustrating because if I just kept doing that like once a month, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff because I wouldn't be an actor at this point. I would just be a podcaster. It's that like medium has become better. I've thought about doing it. My focus right now is, for the past 10 years or so with my career's really been spoon-fed to me, and by which I mean, when I booked Arrow, and we're shooting that for essentially 10 months out of the year, I could choose if I wanted to do something in the 2 months that I had off of the show, which case sometimes I was doing press, sometimes I did Code 8, one time I did Turtles, and then I went straight from Arrow to Heels, and I haven't really had time off from Heels because our schedule has been so up in the air because of the pandemic. So at the beginning of this year, I'm very hopeful for a third season of Heels. I know the second one's coming out. We have to promote the second Code 8. But other than that, I don't really know what I'm doing. And I want that focus to be on acting. So it's important that I get out there and hustle. Like one of the reasons why it's nice to be up here right now is because I'm leaving this convention and I'm staying in BC to shoot a movie for a little bit. So it's like cool, like start a podcast. That'd be great. It's a good idea, but I want my focus to be on acting at the moment.
Well, thank you for opening up about anxiety and everything.
Thank you.
A lot to everybody.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, over on this side of the room.
Hello, Mr. Queen. My name's Cody. I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
You mentioned a couple of times about Code 8. Can you give us an update on the second one?
Yeah. So the second one we shot the end of 2021, October, November, December of 2021. The first one took almost 2 years in post-production. This one is, I want to say like 96% done. And then I think it gets handed over to Netflix in about a month or so. And then it goes through the Netflix car wash where they have to get it ready and have to decide when they're going to release it. And they do something called a global dub.
That's where you get all of the different voice actors.
Yeah, because they release it around the world, and if you're releasing it in wherever, like you have that option as a language, but they have to go through the process of dubbing it, and apparently it's fairly extensive. So between that and the marketing, I would guess, like call it middle of the year. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Midsummer, late summer, something like that.
As for wrestling, since Hunter or Triple H has taken over creation, is there a chance that you could be showing up in WWE?
I mean, there's always a chance. I think that it would be fun to get myself back on programming for wrestling, be that WWE or AEW, surrounding the launch of the second season of Heels. It seems like a pretty natural fit. I mean, I put myself on WWE programming back in 2015, surrounding the launch of the fourth season of Arrow, and that proved to be very successful. So I think we're going to try to do something like that again.
I would love to see you in a match with Cody again.
So would I.
And as much as he hates Stardust, I love Stardust. It was my favorite gimmick.
I do too, man. I have the Stardust boots. Maybe I'll wear those. We'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question. Okay, over on this side of the room. Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Steve? So what was the transition from Green Arrow to the Spectre? Like, was there any any you get to like go back and some source material?
No. Anytime I'm playing a new character in DC, like I've only done 2, 3, kind of 3. Like when it came time to playing Arrow in the pilot, it was less about going back and reading the source material, and instead leaning into the director and the producers and really going for what they were looking for, right? So the Spectre character is less of my take on the Spectre and more of my take on Oliver as a mystical being. Does that make sense? Yeah.
How many salmon ladders do you have at home?
None. I gave mine to Warren so he could work on his training.
All right, 10 chin-ups in a row, Master Dad, you do the salmon ladder. Okay, over on this side of the room.
Hello, Stephen. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for all that you do.
Thanks, man.
The last person kind of touched on the wrestling, but I was going to say, when are you going to come back to wrestling and face Cody Rhodes? But since AEW is coming to my hometown, Winnipeg, it'd be kind of cool to touch base with Jericho.
Yeah, I love Chris Jericho. Yeah. I mean, look, it's I got to go to the Royal Rumble and just say hi to a few people, meet a few new people, say hi to a few old friends, meet a few new people, and it's always fun going back. Whether I go to AEW or WWE, just because I've wrestled, they always treat me like one of the boys. It's really fun. It really feels cool.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to say with the, obviously comic books have a fandom, but I'm noticing, wrestling seems to be another, like you said, to promote season 4 years ago, and still that seems to be like a popular...
Oh, yeah, man, like, it's the... I don't know when people are going to realize that wrestling, like, people love wrestling.
Love it.
And people that you wouldn't expect love wrestling. So, you know who doesn't love wrestling? Specifically me wrestling? My wife. I hurt myself every time.
She's like, not the best sport for you, but...
Okay, man.
Not to switch up from the wrestling, but I just wanted to ask real quick, when can we look forward to when Barry calls Oliver Answers Knocking Point collaboration?
Oh man, I don't know. That'd be a good one. Why don't we wait for the shows to end so that Warner Brothers can sue us? That's a good idea, though. It's a good lab idea.
Always thinking about the legal, the Steven character. All right, over on this side.
Hi, Steven. My name is Tiziana. Sorry, way too close to this. I just had a question for you. So, I'm a fan of wrestling now because of you, so thank you for that. But with all of the work that you do, what drives you for all of the charity work that you do? Like, what helps you decide what you want to put your cause towards?
So whenever I do charity work, my North Star has been, because the first time that I ever really did anything, it was simply it was like I put up an Arrow action figure and I attached it to a GoFundMe page, and then I encouraged people to give $5. And that was for a young girl named Sophie who was battling cancer at the time and is still battling, but thankfully we're not talking about something that was close to 10 years ago, so she's still with us, and that's exciting and wonderful. But the biggest thing was that I knew exactly who Sophie was. I had met Sophie. I had met her mother and her father. I knew precisely where every single cent of that money was going. And so that put me in the sphere of charities that touched on cancer. And when I got to work with F Cancer, that I knew Julie Greenbaum, who's the co-founder. And the Sincerely campaign, which just wrapped up, I know the 3 people that are working at the 3 charities that we're going to benefit. So, like, it's not just that I need to hear about it and hear the story of the charity. I need to be able to see it, touch it, feel it, and understand that for every dollar that we raise, this is where it's going to go. So that could be anything, right? I didn't plan on doing something for cancer, even though my mom is a 2-time survivor and has touched our family. It had to do with meeting this girl and her parents. and then it had to do with meeting Julie, and then Heather and Yale and all the people that have cancer. And for the Sincerely campaign, it just came out of very organic, online people suggesting things, and then a bent towards mental health. So I never know what it's going to be, and I think that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, on this side of the room over here.
Hey, Steven. Sorry, I apologize. I'm in Deadpool today. I was supposed to be Arrow. Actually, I had a season 8 custom-made outfit, but it didn't make it in time. So, my name is Ryan. I've met you numerous times. You probably can't recognize me because of my mask.
Oh, I recognize you. You would come out with your mom and your family to set.
There you go.
Yeah, I recognize your voice.
Awesome. Cool. So, yeah. Excited to get some autographs from you later. I got Dark Arrow statue with me. I've been waiting to get that signed. I tried to get it signed last time. But my question is, so there's been rumors that Grant Gustin might be the new Flash in the DC Universe from the movies. Now, my question for you is, if James Gunn gives you the call, would you want to play the Green Arrow in the movies?
I don't know. No, seriously, I don't know. I had no designs to come back for the final season of The Flash until Greg Berlanti called me up, and even then I was like, well, what's the story? Because I didn't necessarily, and by the way, I might actually do this, but I didn't want to make like a 15-second cameo in the series finale. If I was going to come back, I wanted to be something cool, something in the story with Oliver that we didn't get to do, some person or character or situation that he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to, some thing that we can give people that is a little bit of a carrot for maybe something in the future. So, I don't know, it's kind of a hypothetical on a hypothetical. Like, I have no idea if James Gunn and that whole team at WB has any plans to include anybody from the television world, if they're going to recast the character, if they already have recast the character. I have no idea. And so if they called up, be like, well, hey, thanks for the call. But beyond that, it'd be like, well, what's the story? Like, what's the deal? Like, are you bringing him in to be like, to get the shit kicked out of him by the Peacemaker, or are you bringing him in to do his own movie, or what? Like, what are you doing? No idea.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, over on this side of the room over here. Hello.
Hello, Steven. Well, my question was just sort of already answered. My question was, my new question is, in this new DC, as it's changing and the Flash is coming to an end, if you were asked to come back, as whether it's Spectre, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, or any other character, would you come back? Would you?
I mean, I was, and I did.
Yeah.
But who I came back as is kind of up for debate.
I guess it almost is like a tease for this final season of The Flash, though, and you just alluded to it. You just said you wouldn't come back unless it was for a fairly interesting reason. You said you're coming back, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. Eric Wallace, who's the showrunner on The Flash, he was around when we were doing Arrow. I don't think that he was the showrunner yet. They have an overall plan for the final season of The Flash, but when it came time to me coming back, it was really it was a very collaborative process. And it was more like, okay, all right, you're coming back, right? Well, awesome, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, what are you guys thinking? And they said, we sort of thought about this. And I said, that sounds cool, what about this as well? They're like, ooh, we like that. And I said, I wanted to make sure that Oliver could just drop some important little nugget of information that would excite people, and that would, if I'm gonna come back, I'm ostensibly like opening the door to potential future things with the character, and so I just want to make sure that there was something interesting that would make people interested.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got a lot of passionate fans that are here tonight and around the world watch the show, and you want to make sure, you know, they're served in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, I always remember on Saturday Night Live, the 40th anniversary show, when, like, Eddie Murphy came back, and he hadn't been back at SNL in so long, and then he just stood on the stage and talked, and he wasn't in any sketches, and he didn't do any of his characters. That you weren't there, as opposed to just showing up and not doing, and not
being Eddie Murphy,
and not being the Saturday Night Live Eddie Murphy that we all want to see. Yeah,
incredible. Okay, over on this side of the stage now, please.
Hey, Steven. This is going to be a bit of a throwback on your IMDb, but what was it like working on Queer as Folk?
That was great, man. That was my first ever acting job, professionally. Ever? First ever. It was as a spin instructor, and I was teaching spinning at the time in Toronto. So I actually told my agent, and I've told this story before, but I told my agent when I went out for the audition, I had been auditioning for, like, with me getting the part at all. So no, that was a good experience. Good people, nice guys, good times.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, over on this side of the stage.
Hi, Steven. Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to ask you if you have any funny stories about working with our fellow Vancouverite Alexander Ludwig on Wheels.
Yeah, I love Alexander. I mean, gosh, the funny stories. It's not funny, but we've in the season 1 finale when Jack and Ace are in the ring fighting, and then Ace learns something that Jack did, so he starts like beating him up for real, and Jack has to fight back. We did one take, and we just basically had to, you know, I had to like shove him off or basically hit him in the chest, and then we had to really like, we basically just had to do like 5 or 6 moves that there was no way to do it unless we kind of just did it. And so we did one take, and the director said, "That was pretty good. That was good. How do you guys feel?" And Alexander and I looked at each other, or excuse me, I'm sorry, Alex looked at me and I looked up at him. And we both kind of nodded, and we knew that we had to safely kick the shit out of each other on the next take. And we did. People almost ran in and broke it up because they thought we were fighting. So yeah, that was really special. He's like, it's great. I'm glad that they cast someone that's 3 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier than I am.
Thank you.
Okay, over on this side of the room, welcome.
Hi, Steven. My name is Sanjeev. Little backstory. A few years ago, you and your wife came to a Caribbean island called St. Kitts, which is where I'm from. And when you came there and you were going to 4 Seasons, I ended up getting sick and I could never meet you there. So all my friends met you, and I always want to ask you one piece of advice.
What do you mean? Were you going to be like waiting in the room?
So we used to, me and my friends used to hang out around 4 Seasons.
Okay.
So we were always there, and that's what we found out, but I ended up getting sick.
Okay.
But I always wanted to ask you a piece of advice.
Sure.
I always wanted to get into acting, and when I found that you left Green Arrow because you wanted to spend more time with your family in Vancouver, is why I decided to move to Vancouver so I can start my acting career here. So what piece of advice can you give to someone like me who's just starting out in the field of acting, and where do I start?
Well, you're in Vancouver. It's a great spot. That's number one. Finding local theaters, finding local workshops, finding productions that are in town where you can go and volunteer, or maybe become a production assistant, or maybe work as a background performer as well. Just all things that I tend to think that you want to get yourself as close to a film or television set as humanly possible, so that you can start to meet like-minded people. You can start to find classes that work for them. I mean, any type of, like, you know, go on a deep dive. Google Vancouver acting classes, acting for film and television, audition coaching, and then do a deep dive, read the reviews, and see if this spot is worthwhile or if they just bought the top spot, on the Google results. And just begin there. Just begin there. Little bits, but every little bit helps.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Master 10 chin-ups, and then go. Okay, on this side of the room, welcome. We got a question for Stephen. Hello down there.
Hi, Stephen. My name's Michelle, and I wanted to ask you, oh my gosh, I'm a little bit embarrassed, but I wanted to work in film one day as a deaf actor. I think it's really important that deaf and hearing people have equal opportunities, and so I just wanted to share with you that I'm hoping one day that I can be an actor too.
I hope that one day we get to work together. There you go.
Me too, yeah. I really look forward to meeting you at your table.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we still have a few more people in line for questions over on this side. Welcome.
Hey Stephen, in terms of acting, what does the future look like for you? And are there any movie genres or franchises that you would like to work on?
I don't think that you can pick your franchise. That's kind of like you either have to build one or take one over. Look, the future for me is Heels and Code 8, which is coming out. The movie that I'm doing up here now, and then honestly, anytime that I've gotten a big project, like if you were asking me about Arrow on the Saturday before the Tuesday when I got cast in the role, I'd be like, I don't know what Arrow, what's that? Never heard of it, right? With Heels, it was like, well, what am I gonna do after Arrow? I don't know. And then my manager called me on a Monday and he's like, I got a project to talk with you about that's, wrestling in small town Georgia. Okay. So, I don't know. I know that it behooves me to hustle, that's all.
Are there any type of would you like to do rom-coms, action?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, there's action stuff that I want to do that is in the style of Arrow with things that we couldn't do on Arrow. There's a lot of people here that worked on the show that will tell you that they're in the series finale we killed 120 people, but we weren't allowed to show blood. Doesn't make total sense. But no, rom-coms, I like rom-coms, and just comedy in general. I think it'll be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and do we have anyone on this side, or is no one's left on this side to ask questions? No? A couple more on this side?
Hi, Stephen. Big fan.
What's up, Todd? How you doing, man?
I had a question. For the 8 years that you shot Arrow, what was the most challenging for you?
The most challenging day? Episode. Were you there in season 5 when I was chained to the ground?
Yes, I was.
Do you remember when the cuffs kept breaking?
Yes, I do.
Todd worked in the props department on Arrow for a bunch of the seasons. We're a big fan. Shut up, Todd. That was a very challenging day. I was hooked to the ground. It was an incredibly emotional scene. I have to be defeated, and I have to admit something about the character that I was worried that he wouldn't be able to come back from. And I had to keep repeatedly lunging at Josh Segarra, who played Adrian Chase. And in order to keep me comfortable, I'm sure it wasn't just your department, but several departments have been like, no, don't give him real cuffs, give him plastic cuffs. They'll hurt his wrists. And then multiple times I lunged at Josh, and multiple times with my hands cuffed, I kept breaking the chain and falling on my face. That was a challenging day. And I've almost forgiven you.
I haven't forgiven myself.
See you later, man. I've gone through all my questions before. This is good.
This is amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here, Stephen.
Hey, everyone, Vancouver. Look, my daughter was born here. My son's name is Bowen. This place is incredibly special to me. So thank you guys all for coming out today. It's like being back at home. Thank you very much.